What? Did you think I was gone forever?
Sometimes you don't know where we're going. Sometimes I feel your ship be crawling back to me. Time is ticking by without us knowing.
Víš co, Karlo? Posledních 10 let jsem jenom zabíjel. Zabíjel jsem pro svou zemi. Zabíjel jsem pro svou rodinu. Zabil jsem každýho, kdo mě vlezl do cesty. Ale tohle je za mě. Jdi do hajzlu.
Tak jo, čus lidi, já tady zdravím zpět u Stanle Parable. No a jdeme na to, tady jsme předtím skončili, že jo? V té kanceláři, takže tady můžeme jít tam rovně, no.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
What the
just
fuck?
to admire it.
Tu začíná se od znova ta hra.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ne, jo, tady jsme skončili, jakoby, no jasně.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Jo, dobrý.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Počkat
I'm
tady.
not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Tady už jsme byli, ne, ale...
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
No.
You need to be the one to do this.
Já jsem ho neuložil, já jsem debil. Je...
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
To je debilní hra, ten to neuložilo, ty vole, to je debil.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Skvělý, ale já už...
It was such a
Chtěl otevírat
wonderful
vypad.
fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley.
Jo, dobrý, to dokecej, ať můžu zase hrát.
I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Prosím, daj, prosím, zemři. Dobrý, no. Se omlouvám, že jsi to takhle posral. To mě fajn napadlo, že to začne tvé nahrát do prdele. Doufám, že to nebude celý video se odznova, ty vole, protože to mě fajn naštvalo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the middle of the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nechyběj dveře, nechyběj, dobrý.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Jdeme do těch pravejch.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
To už jsme myslím taky hráli.
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, nevím. Nebo jo.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ne, jdu rovně.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, Why had he taken that risk?
Je, ty se
All
budu chodit
because he
dokola jak
believed
debil, já jsem to
everyone had
zapomněl.
vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun.
What the fuck?
And Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Tu uložím jenom.
And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Já to střihnu a přihlásím sám, až se něco stane. Čus. Tak jo, jdeme zpět, on jakoby usnul. Nevím, jestli to bude furt stejný, nebo nevím.
And everything went black.
Aha, on se to řekl stalo.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
On jakoby usnul Stanley a...
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Jo, jsme zpět, jsme safe. Jdeme.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Nevím.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Vezmu to pro vás. No nic, jdu. Jdeme tudy zase, jako vždy.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Už nevím, proč jdu sem, že to bylo super trapný.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Takže všichni víme, co tady bude, no. To je debilní hra.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Zkusíme, jak dlouho to vydrží, jo.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But 2845...
Ne.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Už měl plný zuby. Tohle se omlouvám, že je to super stejný jako tam ten pár, protože já vůbec prostě nevím, co něho dělat. Prostě nevím, jako no, abych řekl pravdu. Ta hra má sice plnou konců, ale já nevím, jako to bych tam mohl udělat, no. Takže se omlouvám. Já tentokrát zkusím jít tím escapem. Jsem ještě nešel.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered.
No, dobrý. To nezájem nějaký mind.
Stanley walked
No.
straight ahead through the
No,
large
no,
door
no,
that
no,
read
no, no, no,
Mind
no,
Control
no.
Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was
Ne,
that
tady
at
vlastně
the end of
chcípnu.
this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Počkej, tady vlastně chcípnu na konci. Jo, tady na konci
The door
chcípnu.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Tady vlastně na konci vlastně skapu. Tak nic, jdu sem. Ale
But
tady
of
se...
course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Ty tady musí něco udělat, to nemůže furt stejný ta hra.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Dojdu sem zase, no jako je, no jasný, se víte.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ty vole.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
No, jsem tady zase, no, tak to je skvělý, ty vole. Tady se
But
spustí to
here was the
retardovaný.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Proč jsem z toho nikdy
or
nevšiml?
sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and
Něco
commanded
zkusím.
from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for
Já tam
all.
půjdu, spustím to a hned se vrátím sem. A zkusím tady namačkat nějak číslo nebo něco.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent,
Mě ještě něco napadlo.
Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
Neproblém žádný, co mám mačkat jako
I
první.
simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right
Ty vole,
now?
co mám dělat?
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Já vím ten password, jaký snad je. To zkusím dát 5, 2, 1.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving
Zkusím dát 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's just
1,
seconds ticking away to
2.
your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
3.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine.
3,
But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have
4, 2,
left to
7,
struggle.
4, 2, 7.
30 seconds until a
Já
big
to nedám, nejde 4, nejde 4.
Just you being blown to pieces.
3.
Will you cling desperately to your
Já,
will,
4 dáme nahoře,
or will you
ne?
let it go peacefully?
4, 2, 7, no, skvělý, to už nedám, ale.
Make it count.
Já jsem
Or
debil.
don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of
nedám,
your
vole.
inevitable life from the moment
4.
you fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
Tvé 4, 2, 7 to bylo do prčic. Jaj. No. Já jsem si to měl uložit a nahrát v tom voci, já jsem blbej. Já jsem si to uložil, nebo ne? Je, 4, 2,
Just a
7.
step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I could make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
4, 2, 7 to bylo. To nenapadlo se na to kouknout hned, já jsem debil úplně. Tam bylo chybět dveře, ne? Ne.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ty kam vůbec jedu, jo, myslím si dolů. Ten kód byl 4, 2, 7. To jsem zapomněl, že to bylo 4, 2, 7. Stejně jedu blbě, myslím, že jako jdu úplně kam do hajzlu.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even
Ne, já jsem se
further
do
off
té,
track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's
Děj,
clearly...
rozhodni se.
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Konečně.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to
Tak jsme taky byli, se omlouvám, no.
It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Já půjdu jako normálně kleckou cestou a je to 4-2 ten kód je to.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something
Debil.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
Jsem jako debilně, my hrajeme, myslím, bez
It's
slyšet.
an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Chtěl jsem, jenže tam nevím, jak se dostat. Takhle. Já jestli do nějakých garáží jdu, ne? What the fuck?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Jaj, to je idiot hnusnej. Sakra, to buglo. Tak pecka, no.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Chybějí dveře.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Zpátky, OK, jdeme zpátky teda, no. Trochu připomíná portál, akorát tady nemůžete utíct.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Tady už jsem taky byl.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Vyhráli jsme!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
To uložím jenom. Divný.
Okay. I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time.
Ne,
I
nerestartovat.
have to restart.
Nerestartuj to. Ne, to je buzno. No, zase
All right,
kolejná.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Si věříš.
No, I'm down. We're living it up
Ja,
to the line
tak jo,
from
no.
now on. You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Ano, Destiny, budu Spider-Man.
Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
To je hrozná písnička, ty vole.
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Nic jdeme. Jdeme dál. Jako já se fakt omlouvám, že tenhle ten pár bude asi hodně podobný tomu prvnímu dílu. Převnu to.
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Tak mám mít. Jdu rovně. Ne, jdu zase dokola. Sakra.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore, to hell with it. Restart.
Ne, já dokopou, ona mratej za co.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
Okay.
Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply...
Tak mu otevři dveře, ale dělej.
How about this direction?
Juhu.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Juhu.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Tady jsme taky byli v jednom partu, myslím, že předtím, když jsme hráli, tak jsme taky byli už. A já nejen teď, kam jsem šel.
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay.
Jo,
So
do
I know
kolečka
that
pár
each
minut.
door has to lead somewhere. which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in
ono tam je
turn
napsaný chod
means
do
that our
kolečka pár minut.
destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
No, tady jsme byli. Už tohle úplně
What's
retardované.
this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting.
Jo, dobré,
I don't
dělej,
want to
ale
forget
už.
what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this.
O,
I
čísla tam
won't
jsou.
restart the game. I
Zaněž.
won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
What the fuck?
Stopped? Does that mean, did we do it?
Zastavil
Did we
čas.
break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us?
Zastavil
Will
čas.
something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you?
Jo,
agree?
dobrý, dobrý,
I'm
dobrý.
not quite sure if
dělej,
we're in the
pusť mě dál.
destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if
What the fuck? Ne, zase v té kanceláři blbý. Už ta hra sere. Já už teda opravdu sere.
all of his co-workers were gone, what could it mean?
Jo,
Stanley
dobrý.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A nepůjdu do tým meeting room, to se skončil již celý, tam to je furt stejný těž.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Do těch pravých.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Yeah.
Stanley knew it
To
perfectly
už tam jednou
well.
mlel ten
Perhaps he
idiot.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No, tady jsem
Standing
asi
now
po
in this
8.
incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, jdu
And
tam,
so he
no.
detoured through the maintenance section,
A jdu
walked
rovně,
straight
ale...
ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No lidi, tady já tady ukončím, protože já fakt už ani nevím, co tady jsem mlel, ale to teď poslední dobou nějaký furt, je to nějaký stejný, ten neparable tady uložím. A já se na to pak zase přihlásím, jakože pak to u Stanleho se nebo nějaký jiný, protože to mě už to moc nebaví. Tak jo, čus.